Okay, kids, we're back on YouTube. We're live. All right. So you are watching Guitar Quackery Live on YouTube. Guitar Quackery Live is the name of this channel. Okay. And this is Guitar Quackery. Guitar Quackery is the smallest guitar repair shop in New York City, if you didn't know that already. So, what is this all about? Well, my Guitar Quackery is actually a YouTube studio with a guitar repair shop, which means I record videos here and or I do live streams such as this one. So you are watching a live stream or a replay of a live stream. Well, Dr. Rami is watching it live. Hello, Dr. Rami. Quacked and ready, he says. Okay, ready. We're ready to go. So, what's on the Guitar Quackery workbench tonight? We have this vintage bass. It happens to be a UNIVOX Hi-Flyer. So, if you're new to this channel, live stream, then I just want to tell you what it's all about. So sometimes I do live streams. So Dr. Sean Barnes is here. Hello. Hello all. Hello to you as well. So customers can watch me as I work on their instruments. I also noticed that there is something going on here with the nut. So we'll look at that. And, you know, I think it's just cosmetic, to be honest with you. So I don't think we'll need to fix it. But once again, for those of you who are new to this channel, when I work on any vintage instruments, I always charge by the hour. And when I charge by the hour, I like to provide full transparency so that the customers can actually see what I'm doing and what took so long, right? Because they're going to pay by the hour. So this is one of those times. So let's just get started. So we have here a truss rod cover. So here it is, and we'll need to remove it, obviously. We need to look inside. We need to make adjustments. And that's the thing. Even if the truss rod doesn't need to be adjusted, it's not a bad idea to give it a little nudge back and forth, just to exercise it. But sometimes truss rods on vintage instruments do not cooperate. So sometimes you have a dilemma. And sometimes if it's just right and you can't adjust it, I guess you just better leave it alone, as if there's no truss rod. Yeah, it's a short scale bass, and I'll be putting these labella strings on it. So we want to know if they fit, because these are made, it says Stang for the Mustang bass, okay, which is also a short scale bass. So I guess before we get too far with the service, let's just check the length of the strings to make sure that it all works. So as you can see, there's a cover here, and we need to remove it. Now there's some foam, which I'm about to show you. Okay. And I guess we just leave it as it is. Although now that I'm looking at it, I can see that the foam over these two strings is actually ripped. There's still some foam behind the saddles, which affects nothing. So I don't know what the customer wants me to do about this. He might be watching, and if you are watching, just let me know in the chat. Definitely a copy of a Most Right design. I'm not familiar with the name Most Right. Sorry, I'm not a really good historian, to be honest with you. I'm just a tech guy. So we have something here, whatever this is. Oh, nothing to worry about. Okay, looks like packing material. Okay, so the strings need to be just right, okay, the length. So I talk about this quite often. So bass strings are expensive. We don't want to break them. Flat ones are even more expensive, I believe. Yeah, I think so. And these tuning posts are smaller diameter, right? So when you bend a string, sometimes it can break. So you want them to be tapered properly. Now this one wasn't tapered properly and it did not break. But just because this string didn't break, it doesn't mean that another string wouldn't break if you bend it. And that's because a wound string has a core. Where are my scissors? And then the thick bass strings have a couple of layers of windings on top. So when you bend that, the windings cannot compress here. So they end up stretching the core. And sometimes they stretch the core so much that it simply snaps. I have a video about that on the main Guitar Quackery YouTube channel. You should check it out. I think the title of the video is something about impossible setup on a Mustang bass. So check it out, because I actually went through the trouble of making a educational model that shows how the string breaks. Okay, so this is the E string. So that's the one that usually breaks, and we want to check it out now. We want to check the length of this string. So like this. And it's not ideal, as you are about to see. So ideal would be like this, okay? So that only this part of the string is wound around the tuning post. But as you can see, when so the magnets are pulling the string, sorry. When I place the string here and measure it up, but there's another problem. There's a problem right here at the bridge. Yeah. So we're facing two problems. And I think I'm going to have to do something. So I have a friend who's a bass player. So you should check the main Guitar Quackery channel. I don't know how I titled the video, but I think it has the word extendos in the title. And I'll explain what that is. It's kind of like my own invention. No, I might have reinvented the wheel. I don't know. But it's basically a little tube that extends the string at the back end behind the bridge. And we can improvise a little bit with various bushings and stuff, just to show you proof of concept and just to kind of measure it up. So here I have a tuning machine bushing, like this, okay? And I am going to put the string through the bushing, like this. Is that good? Yeah, that's good enough for a proof of concept. And actually just to measure it up, right? So all I want to do is, so that's not long enough. So it needs to be longer than this. And here I have these little spacers that I make for other purposes. And I'm going to have to stack it up like this. So why don't I do this, okay? All right. I think we're getting there. We're not quite there yet. So I'm going to put 2 spacers. And now let's see if this is extending up to this length now, but the string is not going to fit through this. This is a truss rod nut from a fender. No, it's not going to fit through the other side, but I do have a truss rod here. Let's see. That's not good either. Let me see what I got. So we need to find something. So again, I started with the obvious part of the service that might give me trouble. And as you can see, we do need to resolve this. So I guess I was right. Not that I'm bragging, but okay, nothing. We'll do this, okay? We'll just stack up these 2 and this, okay? Maybe like this, okay? First this, and then this. Okay, so this is now an improvised extendo. So, yeah, check out the extendos video on the main channel, and you will see what it's all about. And I think I'm going to have to make extendos for this. So this is going to make it more unique, which is kind of cool, but then it'll work properly. So here we have the extendo, right? The improvised extendo. And now on the other side, we see here that it's almost perfect. It would be better if it's still a little bit more this way. So we need to add one more how thick? Maybe this one. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's add one more. What is this called? Spacer. Okay. And this time I'm going to remove this string. Okay. Yeah. So the name of the game is make it happen. So we have the strings, we have the bass, we got to make it happen somehow. And we are making it happen. So it's a late night live stream, which is good for some time zones. And you can see here what I was talking about. So you see the string was wound here, right? So not the tapered part of the string. So this was like not even a short scale bass string. Well, we want to remove this string. You know what? Before I remove the string, I guess I'm doing this kind of backwards. Well, we can shorten it a little bit now. So let's do that. Let's shorten it a little bit. We'll be throwing away the string anyway. I don't care about the string. It was too long anyway. And I want the other winder. What is this, Dunlop? I think so. Let me see if it works better. Yeah, it does work better for this. So I'm going to put the string back. Oh, and there's a little damage right here on the nut. So let's have a look at that. So one reason why I always charge by the hour when I work on vintage instruments is you just never know what you find. Okay. And I guess this is a good example. So have a look at this. So the nut is slightly damaged here. Now let's remove this. Is this going to affect the intonation? Good question. We cannot glue this back, but we can make a filling. And here we have like a funky thing. I don't know, we might need to make a filling. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, let's just put the string back. And the reason why I want to put the string back is so that I can check if the truss rod is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, split shaft tuning machines. So this string might break as I'm doing this, I don't know. But yeah. Okay, we want to make sure it's in tune when we check the relief. So let me just tune it. Now I know it's not in playing position. This is just a preliminary test, okay? Interesting. I can't hit, oh, that's an E. A. Why is this one so loose? Another reason why I like to live stream vintage instruments, not that I think this is going to happen tonight, but sometimes something can break during the service. And then I don't need to explain what happened. Yeah, let's not jinx it. I don't believe in jinxing, but still, let's not jinx it. So now that we have the strings at full tension, let's measure the neck relief. I put the neck rest all the way as far as it goes. And where is my set of feeler gauges? Right here. We don't need this. My bones. I'm too old for this. Yeah. I'm going to measure the neck relief. Right here, the 8th fret. So this is way, way, way too much relief. So let's, I'm going to sight down the neck first, just to get a sense for, yeah, too much. And this looks like a 5mm truss rod. So I have a set of metric and imperial Allen keys. That's a 5mm. Let's see if it fits. Well, looks like it's the fit, right fit. So we want to loosen it first and then tighten it. Okay. Now, what's also close to a 5mm is, I'm not good with fractional inches. I believe it's 3/16, so we want to try that one as well. And this one is too loose. So let's say we don't want to use this one. It's too loose. But I just checked it, right? I'm not loving it how this part of the Allen key comes at an angle like this. So it turns out that I do have a shortened 5mm Allen key over there. I use it for my disc brakes on my bike, and my bike is right there, so I'll be right back. I can still talk to you. You won't see my bike, but here I am, and I have a little toolbox. And I always hope that no one steals it, the little toolbox. And here it is. I have it in my hand. So you will see. I should make another one here for the shop, to be honest. I basically just shortened a 5mm Allen key and made it like this, you see? So from this to this. And now I like this because it enters all the way. It really does enter all the way, and it's not deep, but yeah, much better. So I need to move this string aside a little bit. There you go. All the way in. Okay. Put the string back. And now we can take another measurement. I don't think I tightened it enough. But let's see. I'm just going to guess 21 thousandths. So the relief adjustment is actually an important adjustment. Oh, 20 does not fit. That's a good sign. 18. Yeah, fits. What about on the other side? 18 fits. 20 also fits. Barely. It depends how I tilt this. Okay. So it's more or less a symmetrical relief. So now I want to move this string aside and tighten it a little more. Remove it, put the string back. move this string aside and grab it from here, from this side. Oh. Still doesn't go in? No. Okay, let's put it here. I need to turn it just a little more. See, it's a very tight design. But it doesn't feel tight enough yet. I mean, the truss rod does not feel tight enough yet. So there you go. How about this? And now we can take another measurement. So the good news is the truss rod does seem to be functioning. I don't think it's ever been adjusted. Probably because no one could find an Allen key that fits inside. So this 16 does not fit. 14 does not fit. 13 does not fit. That's great. Okay. 12 fits. On the other side, 12 1/1000ths fits. 13 does not. All right. So we want it around 10. And this is not the final adjustment. The final adjustment is going to be made when, so this is 12, 11. Okay, so this is good, all right? I'm happy with that. And now we can go back to our string change. Well, we really don't want to wrap the string yet. We just want to measure it up, okay? Because I don't want to be bending and kinking the string just yet. That's going to happen after we polish the frets and do some other work. So now we remove the string. We're also going to have to measure up the A string, by the way. Well, actually all the strings. So I have a little machine shop in Brooklyn. I have a lathe, I have a milling machine. And I've, hold on, the magnet's there. Yeah, I can make little, you know, jigs and accessories or whatever I need to resolve issues. So this is now extended like this, and here it lines up the way it should. Okay, so it's good because now we have both sides lining up correctly. So the silk part of the string is behind the saddle. There's no other way to use this string than to make an extendo, and this is going to go here, and we're going to have a little protrusion there. It's going to look cool. It's going to look very unique. So that's the E string. Now we want to measure up the other strings just so we know what we are dealing with. And then we need to decide what to do about the nut. Okay, let's see this. This isn't going to work. Again, the silk part of the string is like this, so it needs to be behind. So this needs an extendo as well. Now, at the headstock, it works just fine. But I have a feeling that all the strings are going to need extendos. Yeah. So that's the unfortunate reality here. Look at that. So all the strings need them. Okay, because otherwise the silk part of the string goes across the saddle. So now these two, we can get away with shorter extendos. But we do need them. So I'm going to have to fabricate 4 spacers, which I call extendos. That's sometimes the problem with bass strings, especially with short scale basses. So it's either this or we find another set of strings. So these were made for a string through design, string through body. This is why this is so long. So those are not bad strings. They're actually very good, but it's for a string through body. So I guess we have a couple of options. Either we find another set of strings, but you don't know until you open the set what's inside really. Or I make extendos. If I need to open another set, I will use these strings from my Mustang bass, because I've been meaning to put flat wound strings on it. I have a Mustang bass with a string through design. Not every Mustang bass is a string through body, like a Telecaster. All right, well, this gives me a little time to think, but we got work to do on this bass anyway. So let me put the strings here. I have this. So this will give me the measurement for the extendo, okay? But I need to buy a brass rod. I might have a brass rod already. I'm just not sure if it's the right diameter. Excuse me. If I don't drink, I get migraines. And I don't like that. Oh, I got a migraine thing here. Oh, it's not a migraine thing. It's something to massage my eyes. It was a gift. A gift from my friend Eva Sita. So she said this is for my migraines. It's to massage my eyes. I haven't used it yet. I don't want to use it, which means I don't want to have migraines. But it's here if I need it. Thank you, Eva, if you're watching. She also gave me this. She's from the Ivory Coast, and these are cashew nuts. The only thing is, I didn't tell her yet, but they are caramelized, and I don't eat sugar. I used to, but I don't eat sugar anymore. Sometimes I do. So, I see there's a text message from the owner. Oh, Dr. Johnny Bean says hello from California. Dr. Mark Kinney says, hey, everyone. And Dr. Jeffrey Boyle, says whatever he says, normally says. So let me see what the customer says. Please remove the foam mute from under the bridge cover. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. I do it right now. I know it's not very interesting, but here, since I'm doing it and since I'm live streaming, there you go. Now, is this gonna come off? I don't know. I don't have that glue gone. It's under the cover. Let's not waste valuable time on this. No one's gonna see it. And if I do find the glue gun, I'll just try quickly. And if it doesn't work, we won't waste time, valuable time. I'd rather spend quality time with, things that need to really be done to make things work properly. Yeah, so that knot, I don't think it's too bad. I mean, yeah, there's a little fracture there, but I don't think we need to fix that. And if we have any kind of issues, we fix it later. I think so. Unless the customer tells me to fix it, which I don't think we should do. I mean, I can do it, but I don't think it needs to be done, really. UNIVOX Hi-Flyer Bass. So I've been promoting Guitar Quackery, YouTube Guitar Quackery on Guitar Quackery, Instagram Guitar Quackery. I just saw a mosquito here. And Guitar Quackery Instagram is doing really well. So 5 viral videos so far. It's a new account, less than 3 months old. And 3 or maybe even 4 of those videos I can check. Like the 4th one was reaching 100,000 views. Let me check. So while we work on this, I can check. I'm just going to remove the strings and let's work on the frets. So I could cut it, but you know what? I just don't know if we're going to need the strings for something or anything, anything. So let's just save them for now. Okay, last 30 days, last 3 months, but it's not even 3 months old. Yeah, that's sometimes a challenge with bass strings. And I've been thinking of making like a policy that I don't buy bass strings. You bring me the strings. If they don't work, it's, can't be my responsibility. I mean, I don't make strings. And especially with vintage instruments, sometimes they no longer make the string type that they used to make back in the day on spec, right? All right. just a very short detour here. So, so here we see, where's my pointed thing? 143,888 views on this one, and this one is less than a week old. 131,145 views, 110,602 views, and this is 98,266 views. But this one is also getting going viral. It's a new upload. I can show you how it's going viral. You see? So this line here, dotted line, is typical performance, and this is the performance of this video already at over 20,500 views. Yeah, but it's yeah, this reel is being shown to more people because non-followers are viewing past the first 3 seconds, blah, blah, blah. So what's flying here? It's a little fly. Flies don't bother me. Mosquitoes do. I don't really mind flies. Yeah, so there's a little bit of fret sprout. I can feel it. Like that. I can feel the fret sprout. It's a detachable neck. And what am I seeing here? Almost like a fracture. Let me see on the other side. No, only on this side. Let's document this. I don't think it's a fracture through the wood. But there is something here. Let's zoom in a little bit. This thing here. It looks like a surface thing that's just on the surface of the lacquer, or, you know, poly finish, whatever it is, poly, I think. But not on the other side. It is a 3-piece neck, okay? So if it is a fracture through the wood, I'm gonna have to have a closer look at that. I didn't notice it before when the customer dropped it off. But I'm not really worried about it. So possibly at some point the base might have been dropped like this. So now we want to look at any signs of damage to the headstock. There's like a black speck here, but no damage to the finish. So I don't think it was dropped like that. And this tuner doesn't seem to have any damage either. So I don't know what this is. All right, so since it is a bolt-on neck, I'm going to remove the neck to work on the fret ends. So we're talking about Instagram. I can just talk about anything while I work, right? So Instagram is doing better than I had, expected. And I'm kind of focused on that right now because I'd be a fool not to be focused on something that seems to be working. Hold on, let me find the right screwdriver size. This is the right size. Okay, so they're not the same size. Okay, let's see. Okay. And I decided to ignore all the advice of the people who tell you how to get views and stuff. First of all, I just started the Instagram just without my heart was not in it. I was just like, okay, let's do some Instagram stuff, okay? Just because. And I didn't want to spend time optimizing anything, or, you know, I know you need the hook, you need this and that. Okay, I know all these stories. So I'm not working even on the thumbnails, nothing. And it took off. In the first month, it's like I met someone, some young guy, just happened to meet him, who said that, you know, he worked as a media consultant for some new company. I'm like, well, you look like you're 21 now, so you were a consultant? Okay, yeah, because I can make things happen, da-da-da. And then he said, in the first month, I got them 1,000 followers on Instagram. And that was right after I started my Instagram. I said, is that a lot? I don't know. Oh, yeah. So anyway, in the first month, I got over 2,000 followers on Instagram without trying. Let me put this here. So then I saw him again. I said, oh, look at that. Look at my stats. And he said, oh, great. Awesome, right? All right. And I think in that first month, I already was having a viral video or semi-viral or something. Can't remember. So yeah, so now I got these 5 viral videos, 3 of them over 100,000 views, one of them very close to 100,000 views, with the last one over almost 150,000 views, 143,000, something like that, we said. And that's in less than a week, ignoring all the advice. So yeah. So for YouTube, I was always getting stressed about, like, oh, I can't follow all the advice, this and that. All right, so I'm just kind of doing whatever I feel on Instagram. Well, actually, I do have some strategies, but yeah, not to my knowledge, the type of strategy that they are recommending. And I also do, one of the strategies is to do this crazy camera work with me just moving the phone like this when I record. And people are talking about it. So that's actually a strategy, right? Because then they can say, oh, the Guitar Quackery Instagram, the guy that's, driving me nuts with all these, can't keep the camera steady. Not all the videos are like that, or they're called reels on Instagram. So we definitely want to hit these fret ends. Gently. Yeah, so about the strings, honestly, I don't feel like opening up a whole bunch of string packs of short scale bass strings just to see what's inside. And I kind of feel labella when it comes to flat wound strings. While I really, really love the Dario, well, labella has these really highly polished flat wounds, which I think, makes them really, really good. This is better, but I can still feel it. Now, speaking of optimizing social media, YouTube and all that, this channel is really not doing well. But I'm not too worried about this channel. I mean, the purpose of this channel is different. I am working on a couple of videos for the main channel. And I just recorded something that I'm adding to a video about Gibson warranty services, because it just showed up here at the shop. So I was almost done with the editing of the video, and now I have to redo some parts of it, re-record, because things changed. So I was talking about Gibson warranty services, and I always had a great experience with them. Always, okay? And great customer satisfaction experience too, because when I helped a customer resolve warranty claims with Gibson, it always worked out. But they had to do what I advised them to do, you know, the way they talk to them and all, or let me talk to them. Well, this last customer did it on her own. And look, I don't know what she said, right? I wasn't part of the conversation on the phone and all, but from what she told me, I think she might have said some wrong things. And, you know, once you say anything about your guitar and you give them the guitar serial number and your name, well, I think they write it down somewhere in the computer so it's on the record. So now you can't call them back with another story. So I'm not saying that you should lie to them, but there's more than one way to tell the truth, right? So you don't need to answer certain questions if they ask you, because some questions could be traps. So as soon as you answer it the wrong way, that's it. You know, your claim is denied. So I told her, why don't you book a consultation with me and we'll go over everything, because I want to know more about your guitar and all. Well, no, I know what to say, and okay. So the guitar came back. So they made the customer pay for shipping. The customer had to buy the box and all that. And it didn't get approved. And it should have been approved, in my opinion. So they didn't approve it because it was a humidity issue. But I say guitars need to be built in a way that humidity doesn't affect them as much. So you need to two things need to happen when you build a guitar. First, you need to age the wood and dry it down to a certain moisture content. And you can measure that. There's ways of measuring the moisture content of wood. I have the little apparatus. It sends an electrical current through the wood. It gives you a number, and then you need to look at a spreadsheet, like a table, and based on which species of wood you're measuring, it is going to tell you the moisture content, which I believe is expressed in percent. I don't know, I can't remember. It's been a while since I used that thing. So that, okay, so you need to use wood that's been properly dried and aged, and you need to assemble the guitars in a humidity control environment at the right level of humidity. So these fret ends are a little bit stubborn. I'm not loving it how they feel. I might need to do like individual dressing. Yeah, I need to do that. I think they're not seated well, and then when you dress them, you can still feel that little gap, which basically you're feeling the protrusion of the fret. So going back to that video, I first had a happy ending scenario, and then this customer came with the unhappy ending. So Guitar Quackery on YouTube is a consumer advocate channel, and I tell you how things are. I don't like to sanitize things, and if I'm going to talk about my experience with Gibson, I'm going to include everything: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this wasn't ugly, it was just bad. It wasn't good. Sorry, I need to focus on my work here. It just needs to ride the fret. I cannot slip, okay, and then hit the side of the fingerboard. Yeah. So if you followed me lately, you know that I've been under some stress. And I figured it out, what's happening. Now, the only thing is, I'd love to talk about it, but it involves someone else's privacy, so I can't really say much. But so it involves another person, that I don't even know how to say it without saying too much. But let me put it this way. It's not the fault of this individual. So I don't want to be bragging, but I have myself health challenges, and doctors have never been able to figure out what is wrong with me. So I've been able to figure it out all on my own. More than one thing. So I use doctors to get the tests, because I can't order tests. And once a doctor prescribed something like for cholesterol, and it was bullshit. I mean, yeah, I did have high cholesterol, but there's different types of cholesterol. And that doctor was the worst doctor that I've ever dealt with. Somebody is calling me. iPhone is asking this caller for more information. Yeah, please. Atlanta, Georgia. I cannot answer the phone. Clearly, you see that I'm working. So, like I said, I don't want to brag, but I've been able to figure out all of my health issues. You know, and how to deal with them and improve them. So it's the same with this person. Something didn't make sense, and I figured it out. And if it did not involve the privacy of this person, I guess I could talk about it. And it's, you know, yeah, it's private. But it's, like I said, it's something that I think I can help with. Then there's another person that so if you follow on Instagram, I posted some videos, what they call reels, right? No, I'm sorry, stories of a headstock repair. This one. So this was a guitar that I worked on, I don't know, 3-4 months ago for this customer. I'm just going to tell you, it was a customer, right? And I even had to help the customer at that time, not with the guitar, something additional. I always get tangled up with things, but it's okay. Sometimes people need help. And this headstock repair was done for free. So yeah, I've been known to do things for free for people sometimes. when I think that it's the right thing to do for whatever reason. Different people, different reasons. So now the treble side isn't bad, just here and there a few frets. So should I tell you about this customer? Well, it's a young customer that I just felt bad for the situation of this young person. Like really young, right? And for some reason I could read some things, and we started talking beyond what I had to do on the guitar. And all right, so it's a young lady, and apparently she told me that that I got a really good read on her, that she just came as a complete stranger, obviously. So now, by the way, what I'm going to do now, just to go back to narrating what I'm doing. I guess that's a good angle. It had to do with her depression, right? And you can kind of guess some things that happen or can happen in depression. I don't want to really say it. And she said that, yeah, those were kind of like issues. So let's first talk about this. So I rounded off the fret ends like this, but now we have little corners to deal with. Okay, so I'll be doing this. Now, when we hit the corners, we just really want to take that little point. That's it. Okay. So going back to this customer, so she I didn't want something to evolve out of her depression, and so I gave her some advice and instructions that she really appreciated, and she needed the guitar just to keep her mind busy on something positive and progress and this and that. So, like I said, that was like 3 months ago, so maybe 4 months ago, I can't remember. Maybe 6 months ago, I can't remember. So one day she texts me with a broken headstock on the guitar. I'm like, oh. So I said, okay, I'll fix it. And it was an end grain fracture. So if you know anything about headstock breaks, split grain or end grain. End grain is like when you break a pencil in half. Now, how do you glue that together, right? So you need some kind of reinforcement. Now, people will put these splines, and I don't like that at all. I think that's a really bad way to fix it. So I did this carbon fiber reinforcement like you saw in the picture. But yeah, so the point that I'm trying to make here is that sometimes I do things for free. Maybe somehow it'll come back to me someday, but that's not why I'm doing it. But like Like if it does come back to me in a positive way, well, that'll be a good thing, right? And if it doesn't, that's fine. But yeah, I couldn't just not do anything. I've done things for free when I really know that somebody has absolutely no money and they're being nice to me. Okay, we'll do it for free or for like a nominal fee, like I don't know, a few dollars, or you pay for the strings or something. Yeah, so for whatever reason, like I said, I don't want to brag, but it's happened to me many times that I have a good read on people. And sometimes it takes me a while to figure out if there's like some kind of challenge. And so going back to that first person, I figured it out, and I feel that well, life is not fair always, and people then deal with their own challenges in ways that might affect other people, like it affected me. But I'm 100% convinced that I know exactly what's going on. And I can't tell you what it is, I'm sorry. Maybe if this was a private live stream. And now, with this new knowledge, I can actually help. I'm better equipped to help. So these frets are pretty low, which is fine on a bass. Still want to round off the fret ends. Oh, I did these on this side, yeah, okay. And interestingly, now that I've figured it out, now I am no longer stressed. Because now I know what I know. All right. And interestingly, I posted some reels on Instagram where I said that I charged a customer just for turning the battery around. Yeah, because that customer did not qualify for a free service. Simple. And that customer wasted a lot of my time and was being kind of a little bit rude to me, saying that I messed up the guitar a year ago when I serviced the output jack, and now the guitar doesn't work. Well, let's have a look. And look at the Instagram reel. It's one of the viral ones. But it's the one that's the most viral. Well, the battery was installed upside down, a 9-volt battery, instead of facing down, facing upwards. Yeah, well, you can get a free service, but you got to be nice to me. That's the first thing. I hope that makes sense. All right. Now, why don't we look at the frets? See if there are any uneven frets. Okay, found one. Still. So with this situation that I was talking about, without understanding what is going on, one could easily be angry. And I almost was. But something kept telling me that I shouldn't be, that there's more to it. And I believe I was right. I'm convinced. Double check everything. Oh, see, I missed. Very minor. Those are the ones I already did. Okay. And now, come on. Oh, please. Now we want to make sure we have a little bit of a back bow. We do. Okay, so this is rocking. A little bit of a back bow. So that I can do this. A little bit of additional leveling as part of the fret dress. This can hit some of the spots that the fret rocker cannot find. So it is not a level crown and polish, although some people would call it that. And, you know, I wouldn't say that they're wrong. It's just not what I would call a level crown and polish. This is hardly taking any material off the tops. It's just really finding little wavy, how should I say, little discrepancies. Now, when I do a level crown polish, I do it on the neck jig. And it's, you know, it's a different service, different fee, obviously. But we're not going to do a level crown polish on this bass. So this thing that I figured out has to do with psychology. Yeah. So now someone did call, and there's a voice message, voicemail at 10 p.m. Someone's calling at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. And there's no transcript. 9 seconds long. Sam, guitar question. That's all I'm hearing. So I do have a copy and paste message that I send to people who call. Copy. And here. Oh, sorry. Here. Paste. Okay. It says what it says. They need to just reply to it. No problem, but they are calling at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. All right. So now, let's look at the reflection test. How am I not catching this anymore like I used to? Did the lights change here? I didn't change the lights. I think the frets just aren't polished enough yet. All right. I think we can. Yeah, I wanna do the tops still a little more. Just want to make sure that there are no scratches going in this direction. Well, you see, this person says something, Sam, guitar question. That's all I'm hearing. And I don't answer guitar questions on the phone. Just like a doctor. Come to the office and we'll examine you. And I'll answer the questions. And there's multiple reasons why I can't answer questions on the phone. It doesn't only have to do with payments. I cannot rely on what people tell me. I mean, people have told me my guitar is in pretty good shape, and then I'm horrified when I see a bridge lift on an acoustic, or, you know, say, I just don't rely on what people tell me on the phone. So I don't want to listen to what people think. Like the other day, there was a guy here wants me to do a setup on a American Strat. So him and his dad, and the dad says, "Oh, it should just be 1 hour. It's a U.S. made Strat, and no problem." I said, "No, no, I have to disagree with you." Oh, I said, "Yeah, okay." So I said, don't rely on legacy names, brand names. We look at the guitar, and I gave them the card. I say, "You got to book the appointment," and I have a feeling I'll never hear from them, which is fine. Sometimes I just get a feeling. So if I don't communicate well with the customer, I think it's better not to get involved for both. It's not going to be a good experience for either one of us. There was a customer recently, I'm not going to show you the text, but he sends me a all-in-one paragraph. I'm not going to read through. Reading through the details is already working on the guitar. And, I'm not working on the guitar. I don't even know if I will be working on the guitar. So I texted back, "I can't read this." And I said, "I'll just copy and paste my usual message." And I did that. I haven't heard back. So that's bad communication already. Dr. Dan says, "Nowhere to go but up, doctor." I don't know if you're still watching, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The thing that I couldn't talk about here publicly. Because he's a friend of mine. Yeah, and I don't know yet what to do. Okay. I haven't decided anything yet about how much effort I am willing to put into it. The thing that I was talking about before. Okay. Oh, it's funny because Dr. Danny's watching. Is he still watching? Doctor, we're going to have to do extendos for this one. I don't know if you caught the beginning of this, but Dr. Dan Olivencia the second here, are you still there? So he's the owner of the Boss. So the bass that we call the Boss. And yeah, so let me show you the extendos on his thing, on his bass, which we call the Boss. So I did make a reel. So this is what, oh, I can't do it this way. Sorry. Where is his bass? Okay, right here. Okay. So that's the Boss. But we're going to see the extendos. Okay, that's my camera work. Da da da. Oh, okay. Come on, where's that? The extendos are... Sorry about that. I don't know how to fast forward on Instagram. I guess like this, right? I can do this. Oh, there. Those are the extendos, the original extendos that were made for the Boss. Okay, so that's what I need to make for this bass. Are you still there, doctor? No, he's not there. So he plays with two bands, Miasmatic Necrosis and Uniform. And he's a friend, a good friend. And a supporter of Guitar Quackery. Oh, speaking of free services, he got a free service. He always gets a free service. Guess he's a friend. But I didn't charge him for the extendos. A little recrowning. Okay, and now I need to decide which polishing method I'm going to use. I'm going to use the up and down method. That's going to save a little time as well. So this customer has texted back. Let's see what he or she said. Can my message be any clearer? Hello, it appears that you called the Guitar Quackery helpline. I'm either on the phone or working on a guitar. To get a reply, please text back to this number with the following information: your full name, make and model of the guitar, brief reason for your call. Please note that because of an overwhelming demand for services, I will only be able to reply to callers who provide all the information as requested. Thank you very much. It's an Ibanez. The B string stops tuning at a certain point. Let me read this again. Please note that because of an overwhelming demand for services, I will only be able to reply to callers who provide all the information as requested. Yep. I cannot figure out people. So you're wasting your time by not providing all of the information, right? You're wasting your time. Don't waste your time. Yeah, I will use the up and down method. Okay, so, and I have a bad communication with another customer who I'm not going to finish the job. I already did some work on it, and I'm going to cancel the work. I've sent numerous text messages and the customer insists on calling me. And I keep saying, I don't communicate on the phone, I communicate by text message, and we've texted before. So don't try to change the way I work, because I have multiple reasons why I work the way I work. One of them being, I want everything in writing and on record, what we talked about. Not like, oh, you told me on the phone. No, no, no. It's all in the text messages. And the other thing is I can't remember what I talked about to someone on the phone 2 weeks later or 6 months later or 2 years later. But when I have it in the text messages, I remember everything. Well, I can reread it, right? And there's pictures in the text messages and all that. So. And I hate to say it, the worst people to work for are rich people. Those that bring personal assistance. That you can never communicate with a person as only through the personal assistant. I had a customer that had all these vintage guitars. It was a kid, okay? So they bought him all these vintage guitars. He never came here. It was all the personal assistant always bringing these guitars and stuff. I distanced myself from them. It became a nightmare to deal with them. So I'm not available. Sorry if I'm bitching too much. I had someone call me, text me, call me and then text me, yeah? Call me, and then I texted back. I'm the personal assistant of such and such, and okay. And there's a guitar. It was like a preamplifier repair, like a broken plastic preamplifier. And, you know, I Googled that person who is the person who owns the guitar, right? Not the assistant, right? Man, okay, so I didn't know. This was not a celebrity. But this person shows up, a Wall Street person. Not just as a Wall Street person, but like a, okay? The guitar was like a $200 Ibanez or something, you know, piece of garbage. Probably 20 years old, you know, with a broken plastic preamplifier. And can I fix that? I'm not going to fix that. And then she was trying to bother me like this. I said, no, just, you know, I said, you gotta find the part and bring the part to me. Like, I'm not gonna be looking for like a 20-year-old preamplifier from a $200 Ibanez acoustic guitar, right? That's broken. That's like, the plastic is broken. And I'm thinking, this is a person who ranks really high on Wall Street, so high that that person had a I can't tell you what the name was, but I'm going to make up a name. The Guru of Wall Street, right? Something similar. And it's like, why you have a guitar like this? And this person even appeared on the cover, I think, of Forbes magazine or something. You know, when I Googled, like, they show up, right? And I'm not going to charge someone more just because they're rich. But in my experience, those with personal assistants, they're a nightmare to deal with. Because you're dealing with a personal assistant that has no interest in guitars, that knows nothing about guitars. So there's one person that had 2 personal assistants. Like every time it would be a different one coming. Like they can afford to pay these people to. Whew. So, all right, you know, I keep an open mind. I'm not going to judge someone just because they tell me they're the personal assistant. I mean, I'm still going to talk to them if it's a new person. I mean, they're still going to pay for the assessment of the guitar and all, right? So we'll see how it goes. But so far, my experience has been, I don't want to deal with them. Now, I do have some well-off customers that, you know, just come, you know, without a personal assistant. And I think all of those have been fine. I think, yeah. I had a friend, I kind of lost touch, but he was working in guitar sales, and he had this customer who would buy super expensive guitars, brand new guitars for his kid, as in child. And then he bought for his child's 9th birthday or something like that, a PRS. I don't know too much about PRS guitars, but something about the wood, you know, like some stock of wood or something, right? Okay, it's like a $10,000 guitar or whatever. And, you know, he couldn't even bother to come to pick it up, so this guy had to deliver it during the birthday party and give it to the child. And the kid just looked at it, okay, and, you know, just kind of walked away. And they paid him to deliver it and all, right? There was a guy that I did not want to deal with because I already had, like, I got the vibes, right? He brought a PRS, yeah, surprise, with a broken headstock. He started cursing, you know, like it was on his guitar stand. He was having a party, and I don't know what guy knocked it, you know, off the stand. And it's already been repaired once. okay? Someone else repaired it, and yeah, they did a beautiful job. You couldn't even see it. Okay. All right. It was like opaque color. I think they probably resprayed the entire neck, right? Stripped and resprayed the entire neck. You couldn't see. I mean, he brought it with a broken headstock, but I could see that you couldn't see any patchwork from a previous repair, right? So I said I was not going to do it. I don't have a spray booth. And I sent them off to someone else who could handle that job. And I don't know what came of it. You know, just, I didn't follow up. I guess I could show you this view. Yeah, sorry, I'm just talking about all this negative stuff tonight. I don't think too many people are watching. 7 people are watching. Oh, I went to the Home Depot store the other day to buy a fresh supply of my toxic chemical, and they didn't have it in stock. I don't know if there's a shortage of it or something. I don't know. So I'm going to have to go to Lowe's or Ace Hardware or buy it online. I don't know about the shipping of it if I buy it online. But I'm down to a little bit left. I think I got a little bit left in the can. Okay, that's that, because I'm going to use a toxic chemical right now. Right now as we speak. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a little bit feeling the fret ends. And again, it's because they're not seated all the way. So what do? You can flood them with super glue. I guess I'm gonna have to talk to the owner because ultimately it's his choice, you know. I mean, it doesn't have to be done, but if he wants it, I don't want to use the word perfect. Yeah, so some of them feel a little so you can see that little gap right there. So when it's like that, like let me go there with a feeler gauge. Hold on a second. Which fret is it? This one. Say this little gap. So you feel that, and you know there's no amount of polishing or filing that's going to make it feel completely smooth. That's a gap, right? Hold on. Right, they're not seated all the way. So you can feel that. So the only way to, not the only way, but the economy way to deal with it is to flood it with super glue and then clean up the super glue around it. And I'm sure this one is the same. Oh, it's on the other side. See that little gap there? So this gap is even smaller than the thickness of this feeler gauge, but you can still kind of feel it. Not so much here. Yeah. I'll talk to the client. He'll make a decision. It's not bad. Let me feel. No, it just isn't perfect, right? And really, there's no more work that, no more improvement that can be achieved by filing or polishing. Where is, I had another roll here. Okay. So, is anyone here? So there's 7 of you watching. I wonder if I have any people from Instagram that discovered this through the Instagram efforts. If so, please let me know. I need this feedback just to see what works, what doesn't work. So this is a toxic chemical. It's really toxic. Shouldn't inhale it, shouldn't touch it. Although plenty of repair technicians inhale it and touch it. And they're going to say, I'm still standing. Yeah, I know. But I don't know, then people eventually get some kind of, I don't know, cancer or something. They're going to say, well, it's from this. I don't know. How do you know? I don't know. I know of a few people that are in this business that died in the past year or so. And the reason why I don't like to say what it is, although I think everyone kind of knows what it is, because you probably, if you watch this channel, you probably watch other channels, guitar repair channels, and they talk about this chemical, but I don't want to be responsible. It's like if some kids are watching and then they use it and something happens, they didn't get the information from me. Because also I noticed that on those other channels, there's no warning. They just tell you what the chemical is, but they don't tell you that it's really bad for you. And it's really bad. It's bad. No amount of it is good for you. No amount, right? Not even a little bit, is good for you. It's a carcinogen, and now it evaporates very quickly, and I don't know, it goes through the cracks to the neighbor's area. Okay. I'm gonna have to start buffing. And that works better if I install the neck on the body. So it's 11 o'clock. So let's do some cleaning first of the body. It's just some. I know that this customer wants kind of like to keep the look of a, you know, old instrument, which is fine with me. I just want to clean it a little bit. And we're not going to make it look like it's brand new. That's not the point. So there's a little rust here from this. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'll remove this entire bridge plate, clean underneath, not now, but later, and just clean the bridge plate. So I am discussing a potential sponsorship. The switcher isn't working. So it's not working there. If you are not new to this channel, Dr. Rami says, my favorite customers never appeared on the cover of Forbes, but some have appeared on Playboy. Ah, okay. That's good. Well, have you seen Eva, my collaborator? So she hasn't appeared on Playboy. She's not that kind of model, but she appeared on many other, I don't know, covers. I don't know that, but yeah. And she came as a customer, but I right away made it a non-customer for other reasons, not because of her looks, but she moved out of town now, so yeah, we knew that was coming. So okay, so I'll put the neck back and we'll do the buffing. We'll buff the frets. What was I talking about before? I lost it. What was it I was talking about? Was I talking about something? I think It was something not guitar related. Oh, I remember. Sponsorship. Yeah, so if you are not new to this channel, or to the main Guitar Quackery channel, then you know that I do want to have sponsors, but I want to avoid sponsors that have anything to do with the industry, the guitar industry, because I want to have content that people can trust. So especially when it comes to reviews. All right. So I'm really happy with this jacket. Okay, this jacket I ordered from a company, and I designed it, and they made it, right? And then they also, I uploaded my logo, and they embroidered the logo. So there are a few companies that make these jackets, okay? But I'm really happy with this one. And I started wearing it in some of the videos on Instagram, and people have been asking about it. And then some videos, not those videos, but some of the videos went viral on Instagram. So I just sent a video to the company. You know how you can send a message? You can also just record a video, right? And I said, hey, I'm doing this on Instagram, you know, check my stats. It's a new channel or account, whatever you call it on Instagram. And, you know, I already got viral videos. And you know what? I was wearing the jacket in the video. So I really love the jacket you guys made. And I wore it in some of the reels, and people have been asking about the jacket, where to get it, and etc. Right? So, and I have ideas how to incorporate the jacket into some future videos that are likely, that have a good chance of going viral. So, would you like to sponsor me? So they replied, oh, that's a great idea. But now we need to negotiate something, I guess, right? So they asked me for a link to the YouTube channel. I don't know how they couldn't figure it out on their own, but well, whatever. So I sent a link. A few days went by, I haven't heard back, and today is Saturday. So let's see if I hear by Monday. But a few days did go by, almost a week, I think. We'll see. So that's the kind of sponsor I wouldn't mind having, because there's no conflict. But I do need sponsors, or a sponsor at least. Hopefully more than one. So it should be possible to get sponsors that are not guitar related, I think. And that would make sense. Or maybe I'm just making it too difficult by avoiding guitar-related sponsors. Because at the end, I think this small group of people here appreciates that. But I think in general, people don't care too much. So yeah, maybe I'm just trying too hard. All right, let's get busy. Yeah, so what's up with this? This doesn't work now, right? Why isn't this working anymore? I think I know why. The companion app. I need to relaunch it. Yeah, warning, connecting. It's not connecting to the switcher, I guess. Okay, let me relaunch the app. Ah, check mark. Okay. It's gonna work now. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So I have a list of potential sponsors that I want to reach out to that have nothing to do with guitars. I'm not ready yet. I did reach out to this company for the jacket because that was happening on Instagram, and I could be ready for Instagram to get a sponsor for Instagram. But then they wanted to see my YouTube channel. But I really just asked them to sponsor the Instagram channel, or is it called a channel, account, profile? So maybe they're just more interested in YouTube. I don't know. And if you guys have any ideas, whom I should consider to be a sponsor that isn't a guitar company, a guitar related company, let me know. Ooh. I had a few setbacks in the shop here because of a number of different reasons. All right, I'm working on this one now. But you see, one setback is going to be making the extendos, obviously. Unexpected. So if you logged in, if you joined the live stream now and you don't know what I'm talking about, the extendos, well, I guess you're gonna have to watch the replay. It's important to keep moving this so you don't overheat the fret in one spot. So we talked about a lot of things today. About my freebies. There's another freebie that I'm doing. It's been dragging for a while. I think some of you may know who the person is. It's a guitar that isn't worth fixing that appeared on this channel. That's a freebie. And I've also done underpaid work, or, you know, I do it every now and then. Again, I use my best judgment. It all starts with the person being, you know, really nice. Now, I can't just do the work because someone's nice. There's got to be something else. But being nice is a prerequisite, obviously, because then I need to be nice and do something either for free or not charge my full rate. I've also done work, I remember, not for free, but for less than it's worth, just to end up with pictures that I can use for presentations. Like, oh, interesting, and yeah. In fact, I'll show you something. There's a guitar hanging right here with a broken headstock. You know how I do guitar giveaways, yeah? I guess if you are a regular here. This is heating up anyway. So, all right, so I finished this one. Let's move it over to the next one. So I have a guitar with a broken headstock here, and here's the headstock. And this is an end grain fracture. It's a cheap Fender guitar. So this is going to be a carbon fiber reinforcement, just like the one I showed you before. But in this case, I just gave the customer a guitar. I said, okay, I can't fix it for you, but I do want to fix it and make a YouTube video of it. But it's been sitting here for 2 years already. So I said, you know, I have a few guitars here. You can pick one, and that's that. And you don't owe me any money. Just leave this guitar here. And that customer is really happy. But it's just the type of fracture that I want to fix and make a video. And I might do it now soon. Because I want to build up a library of videos, of membership videos, exclusive videos, how-to videos, right? And that's a good one. So you can't just buy a guitar, break off the headstock, and hope that it's going to break like that. No, this one is broken just the way I want it, right? So this is why it was valuable for me to do the exchange and give the customer a free guitar that I was going to give away anyway. I was going to give it away anyway without even acquiring this guitar, right? So I guess that was about a year ago, a year and a half ago or something. Yeah, I should make the video. Or it's going to be a series of videos, I guess. So I want to make short educational videos for members only. And the last carbon fiber repair that I did, I'm really happy with the way it came out. And I wish that I had recorded a video. I didn't have time, but I did record a bunch of Instagram shorts under a minute. Oh, and this is how I'm now promoting the Instagram account. So on Instagram, you can have reels, which stay there forever unless you delete them, and stories. Stories are only active for 24 hours, and then they self-delete. So this is something that I haven't heard anyone talk about, you know, how to grow on Instagram, like all these smart people. But I made a series of stories that people could follow. And I explained how I did that repair with the carbon fiber, yeah? So the stories stayed active for each one of them for 24 hours, and then they self-deleted. So you can only view stories if you follow an account. Okay, so they self-deleted. And then I recorded a video for reel showing the carbon fiber repair and explaining that if you are not subscribed, if you don't follow this Instagram account, you miss the stories. So here, I don't know if you're going to hear the sound. Carbon fiber backstrap with a stinger. So this is the kind of content you are likely to miss if you don't follow Guitar Quackery here on Instagram. Because if you don't follow Guitar Quackery on Instagram, you don't get to see the stories. And I documented this in a series of short stories. I showed every step of how I did this. And I even showed this on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, you can also subscribe to the Guitar Quackery YouTube channel. And if you want to catch me live on YouTube, you can subscribe to the So this is one strategy how I'm going to promote Instagram for people to start following. So I'm gonna publish short stories that are going to self-destruct after 24 hours, and then I'll make a final video showing the repair, completed repair, just like I did here, and say, well, because most people who watch the reels are not followers, right? I can see this from the stats. And I'm going to say, well, this is the final completed repair, but you don't get to see how I did it because you are not a follower. Only the followers get to see all the steps of the repair, because only the followers can view my stories. So that's how I'm going to build up the Instagram follower count. So this just occurred to me a few days ago that I could do it that way. And now I'm documenting kind of midway another headstock repair that I'm doing. So the cosmetic part of the repair I'm documenting for Instagram. It's the heritage headstock repair that I'm actually doing here on this channel. But the cosmetic part I'm not live streaming. So, but I'm documenting it on Instagram. So I'm going to do the same thing. Hey, stories. I'm publishing the stories. Today I uploaded one. Kind of explain what I'm doing. And at the end, I'm going to do the same thing as I did for this headstock repair. Hey, I did explain how this is all done, but if you're not a follower, you don't get to see it because you don't get to see the stories. So far, I haven't heard anyone talk about this strategy. I came up with it. It's really hot, so I hope I didn't overheat the motor. 4 people still watching. Okay, well, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay up. So that's going to be the guitar quackery method of growing a following on Instagram. Let's see if it works. Because like I said before, at the beginning of this live stream, I'm ignoring all of the advice that people give, on how to grow on Instagram. Because what do all these social media gurus have in common? I mean, they have a big following, but all they do is talk about how to be successful. Yeah, anyone can build a popular channel like that. Anyone. We could all just start a channel about how to grow on YouTube. Eventually people would start watching, and it's just like you just copy what other people say, you rephrase it, and you have content that people supposedly want to watch and subscribe to. And if you know how to talk the talk, people take you seriously. But a lot of those people, they just recycle what others have already said. Yeah. But none of them show me how to grow a guitar repair channel, because they don't have a guitar repair channel. All right. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to wrap it up. And you know, I keep realizing it's tough to be a YouTube creator or content creator or guitar related or whatever, music related content creator that plays original music. Because now there's these, I don't know if they're spammers or really scammers. You know, they claim the content as their own. So then those guys get a copyright strike for playing their own music. Either playing their own music or their own arrangements of copyright-free music. I just watched a YouTube video of Davey 504, what's his name? Bass player. So he made an arrangement of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata on the bass. And, you know, it took him a long time to put together the video, obviously. And then he got a copyright strike because one of those companies claimed that it was their thing, you know. And YouTube doesn't really, you know, protect the content creators, according to those people. Yeah, I guess YouTube is understaffed, right? So, which is why I say that we actually need to support YouTube, because a lot of people are saying that they're not profitable, really. I don't know. How can I know? How can we know, right? But if they're not profitable, well, then we're not going to have YouTube. And I want to have YouTube. We all want to have YouTube. Uh, 11:30. Yeah, I don't want to work crazy hours. So people complain that YouTube takes a big cut, 30% from creators. Yeah, 30% is a big cut, but you know, I mean, come on, YouTube is free, right? I mean, we don't have to pay for hosting, nothing. So I actually don't think it's a big cut. I think it's fair. I gladly give them 30% because they give me this platform that not only is it a hosting platform, it's a platform that has an audience. So that's worth money, right? So that's how I see it. I think we should be paying YouTube. Yeah, because everything costs. For example, if people post super chats or whatever, right? They take 30%. Well, that's fine. And they need to make profit. They can't just break even. Because no one's going to stay in business if they just break even. Because they do grow and develop, right? So those profits need to be used for growth and development. Now, not everything that they do is great, right? We disagree with a lot of their decisions. But that's how it is. So if we don't like it, we don't need to post on their platform, right? I mean, those are their rules, and they say, yeah, you're welcome to have an account here for free. But those are our rules, right? So if you don't agree with them, you don't have to. I mean, post here, upload. It's as if I rent part of my house, right, to someone. Let's say I want to have a tenant to live with me. I'm going to say what the rules are. That's my house, right? So yeah, you don't need to be here. If you don't like the rules, you can go somewhere else. But those are my rules. Yeah, so YouTube, they have every right to have whatever rules they want to have. So I've been meaning to start 2 more Guitar Quackery channels. I've been talking about them already. So I have Guitar Quackery and I have Guitar Quackery Live, 2 active channels. I've been meaning to start Guitar Quackery Shorts. And I think I will now soon-ish because I'm doing Instagram. I could repost some of the same reels on Guitar Quackery Shorts, right? And have some content that does not appear on Instagram. and vice versa. But I don't want to have shorts on this channel, and I don't want to have shorts on the main Guitar Quackery channel. But I might start the shorts channel now. And then Guitar Quackery Business, just for those who wish to learn about the business of guitars. And I have a lot to say about that. But that's not going to be like a general interest for repairs, right? It's just those who just want to know about the business. Different audience again. I think it's good to split it like this. So I want to have a network of channels. But then now I also have my collaborator, which, you know, this is tough now because she moved out of town, right? This was expected, but not expected to happen so soon. So I don't know how this is going to continue. I don't know if we can work remotely or not. I don't know. So because I kind of wanted to just work on her channel. I wanted to build a new channel for her because her content is more monetizable than guitar repairs. But again, I don't know if it's even possible at this point. Yep. I had to talk to her, that's all. Today is October 11th, almost halfway into October. Yeah, I was going to work with her closely through the end of the year. Then she was going to move in January. That was my understanding. But she already moved because of some developments, unexpected developments. Yeah. All right. Friends, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the night. Ooh, this is hot. 4 people watching. What is her channel called? Yeah, you know, if you could have a lady friend from overseas, where would she be from? South America, Africa, Europe, Asia? A lady friend? What do you mean, like personal friend or collaborator friend? I mean, I have friends from overseas. Please let me know what you mean by friend. So her channel is not good. Yeah. She's got some interesting stuff on it, but I'm looking at her potential and her talent, which she really does have. Special friend. What do you mean special friend? I mean, that can be romantic or special business friend, collaborator. Yeah, please let me know what you mean. I mean, I don't know what you mean. But anyway, to me, it's more like it's got to be the right person. Romance. Well, should we get into this? I've had special lady friends from overseas. A few of them. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like chase a continent. I would just, you know, the person, and then, oh, you happen to be from wherever. You know, okay. Yeah. I don't have like a fetish that that I'm like chasing. I don't know. I don't want to mention the country, right? Because I don't want to mention any countries here. But you know, a girl from such and such country. I've got to say, okay, North Korea, for example. You know, which is unlikely, right? So I'm not chasing that. So yeah, special friend, romance, yeah. But why did you start talking about that? I'm not talking about that. Did it seem like I was talking about that? My wife's family escaped North Korea. Really? 조선 사람. 조선. 저는 한국말을 할 수 있습니다. I speak a little bit of Korean. But 한국 사람 is South Korean. 한국, Han river. 한국국 is country. 사람, person. But you don't say that to a North Korean. North Korean is 조선 사람. 조선 사람. You can ask your wife. 조선 사람 is North Korean. 한국 사람 is South Korean. And yeah, I was in North Korea once. I was there. I'll tell you exactly when I was there. So while I was there, Kim Jong-il was still alive. And while I was there, I watched on TV in the North Korea with, you know, a bunch of people from North Korea, obviously, the party meeting with all the generals and all the party officials, whatever. It was very like robotic how they clap and everything. Kim Jong-il was announcing that Kim Jong-un was going to be his successor. So whenever that happened, I think it was 2010, 2011 maybe, from memory. That's when I was in North Korea. So, yeah. So whenever that date was, that's when I was there. I was there during that date. And now, as we all know, Kim Jong-un is, in fact, the leader, not the president. Kim Il-sung is the only president of North Korea, ever. And the others were just leaders, I guess they're called. But there's only one president. Oh, there was only one president. Okay. So there's a myth that you can't go to North Korea. Okay, that's not true. You can. You got to respect, you know, not do anything foolish. Like in any country. Like if you go to Thailand and you smuggle drugs, death penalty, right? So you got to respect the law of the country, right? But in North Korea, like if you, what was the guy's name that was imprisoned because he took a poster, American, right? He took a poster from one floor, and obviously he went there, right? So you can go there, right? So he took a poster and he wanted to do something with it. I don't know what. So, but there's a law there against that. So he got busted, and I mean, I think it was too harsh of a punishment, right? I feel bad for the guy. But the fact is, if you go to a country and there's a law, don't break it. And I think in Thailand, you can't, and I've never been to Thailand, but they have a king, right? And sometimes you see pictures of the king in a newspaper. So I heard that you can't use those pages of newspapers to, let's say, wrap a fish in it or something, because there's a picture of the king. I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. Just gonna clean the fingerboard a little more. Yeah, I actually like Koreans. I studied a little bit Korean, the language and the culture. King Sejong. King Sejong, 15th century king. Sejong, they call him Sejong the Great. So he was, well, according to historians, a well-loved and respected king. And he developed the Korean script, which is called, see now, I can't remember what it's called. Hold on a second. It'll come to me. So yeah, so Chinese characters used to be used to write the Korean language. And still to this day, actually, I'll explain that as well. So Hangul, right? That's the script, the Korean script, Hangul. It has two names. Hangul is one of them. So he wanted, the king, King Sejong wanted all of the people of Korea to be literate. And that was a very controversial thing back then in the 15th century, because the scholars didn't want the peasants to be educated or literate, right? Because that was a threat to the, you know, people with higher standing. But the king had a different idea. He said, no, no, no. our country is going to be a richer country if all of our people are educated and if they can read and they can educate themselves. So there was a lot of opposition, but at the end, he was the king. So he says, this is how it's going to be, right? So he hired scholars to develop Hangul, the Korean script. It's the only script in the world that hasn't been developed through centuries of, changes and evolution. It was just designed at one time, and this is how it is. So it was so simple for Korean people to use that, within a short amount of time, people learned how to read and write. And he also developed other things, a notation system for music. I don't know if a calendar or something to keep like the weather. I can't remember. A few things. Okay, I can't remember now. Okay. So yeah, so he was a great king, apparently. You always have to take everything with a grain of salt, right? The history, especially. So I could speak Korean well enough to kind of communicate a little bit with people, go to a restaurant, order food, that kind of thing. Talk politics, not really, but yeah. And then I went to North Korea just because I was fascinated with the Korean culture, and I've been to South Korea a few times. So I said, I got to see North Korea as well. So I went there, and I got my I got it out of my system. All right, so I had to do it. Yeah. And here, where I am now, so I am close to Madison Square Garden, and that's also close to Koreatown, K-Town it's called here. And I don't really go there often. It's just a few blocks away. A lot of Korean restaurants and Korean businesses. I guess I should go there. Maybe I meet some cute girls. Korean girls, right? I speak Korean. Yeah. Auto. Yeah. He took the poster. Korean script is called Hangul. Yeah. Hangul, yeah. So when you go to Korea, people just drink these beers. Mekju. Mekju is beer. Mekju 주세요. Give me the beer. Bring it to me. So they stack up these beer bottles so the servers don't take them away. So when you go to these bars, there's like a couple of guys at a table, 20 or 30 bottles, what they drink. I mean, I don't even drink, but I just can't imagine how they manage to drink all that. And but yeah. Yeah, I used to speak, decent, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'd like to relearn. And Dr. Rami, so then you know how easy it is to learn to read, right? Hangul. You can learn it in one evening. Okay, friends, that's it. I guess I can oil it. Yeah, let's oil it. And there's this cleaning product, Fretboard Dunlop, which I sometimes use. And I think, here there's like, I think it would be good to use it. It is a little bit oily. Sometimes you don't even need to oil it after you use it. It kind of oils it anyway. So I guess you've been to Korea, right? Hangul, yeah. So I've been to Korea, to Seoul, obviously, and to some other little towns. People drove me to some towns, I don't know, south of Seoul. I've never been to Busan. I'd like to go there. Oh, yes, so I was going to say about the Chinese script being used for the Korean language. So it's not well suited for the Korean language, but it's still used in Korea for legal matters. And that's because the Chinese characters will define exactly precisely what the word means. But if you use Hangul, there's sometimes a couple of ways of interpreting the same word or words, right? So for all the legal documents, I don't know if all legal documents, but many legal documents, they still use the Chinese script. That's how people explained it to me. So then you probably heard of Kiksenjong, right? All over, yes, I have been to Korea, all over South Korea. Hanja is Chinese script, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to Korea a little bit. Okay, I need to wrap it up. This is it. And we are going to continue, but I need to discuss this with the customer to make these extendos. I need to take the right measurements. You know what? Well, let me just take the measurements now. Just put on Post-it note. That's all part of the job, right? All right, where are the strings here? Yeah, I'm having trouble with some of the. I was always having trouble with some of the Korean, you know, how to pronounce things or how to even hear. Ka 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 ka. You know, I don't know. At one point, I did get it finally, but that took a while. Okay, so I just want to see first if all of them, all of these have the same amount of silk after the ball end. More or less, I think so, except this one's a bit shorter, but I'm just going to call them even. Yeah, all right. So, which means there's just going to be one size, one length of the extendo. And where do I have that thing that I, here. So it was all this stacked up together. On in millimeters, 0 out. Okay, so 27.5. So that's gonna be like that. So we have that 27.4, whatever, 27.5. I'm gonna call it 27.5. So when I make the extendo, the inside, so this is the center, the inside, so that the string is going to go through this. So this measurement here is going to be 27.5 millimeters. But this measurement needs to be a little bit longer. So we are going to add a little more than this, 6 millimeters. So I can add 6.5. Yeah, I think so. So so this measurement is 6.5 from here to here. 6.5 millimeters, right? So that's 34 altogether. 34. Is my math correct? I think so. So that's a cross section of the extendo. Okay, and now we need to know this measurement, what that is. So I was using this, so that kind of almost fits there. I'm just going to use this. And I believe that that's not a metric measurement. That's going to be 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, which is how you buy brass rods in this country. So that's going to be 3/8. Yeah, that's it. And then you have this internal measurement here, which needs to be a little more than this. So we said that's about 6 millimeters, but I'm going to use 1/4 of an inch drill bit to do that. Okay, so that's going to be 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. And then we have the internal. And again, I'm not going to use a metric drill for this, so we need clearance 1/8 of an inch. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, cool. So the internal thing, I have nowhere to write this. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. So this is what I need. Okay, this is what I need to make. I need to make 4 of those. Okay, so now I can put these strings away. I can't think of a better solution. We're not going to be opening up packs and packs of strings just to find out if there's a string that just fits properly. And that's going to make this bass more unique anyway. It's going to have 4 extendos. Night. Bass looks good. Night, meaning good night. Yeah, good night to you as well. Thank you for your company. All right, and I'm going to put this back because I don't want to lose any parts. Here it is. So I need this put here on my computer. And what's weird about the Korean language is they have 2 sets of numbers used for different things. That's confusing. Okay. Listen, I think we are approaching completion of this. I just need to make the extendos, put the strings on, finish the setup, maybe a little touch up on the nut, and we'll be good. Well, it'll be good to go. Okay, so kids, I gotta go. I don't want to stay here all night. I was going to record 2 videos for the main channel, but I think it's going to happen tonight. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and good night, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.